welcome to sense number 9 and my bedroom. Vivi is occupied in the other room, so I thought that I would just go ahead and do a quick video for you guys on sense number 9. Before we get started, go ahead and pull out your journal and mark down your mood today between 1 and 10, and then anything you feel to journal about your life today. And then we'll get into sense number 9, which is our last radiation sense. Tomorrow we get into the feeling senses, so that'll be fun. Okay, so today's sense is electromagnetic sense and polarity, which includes the ability to generate current, as in the nervous system and brain waves or other energies. So I'm just gonna say up front that I am not a trained scientist. And what I did was just really kind of dig into this a little bit. And I took some notes on 3 aspects of this sense that I wanted to share with you guys today. In particular, the third one I have some experience with and wanted to share that with you. And that's the one that we're gonna play with a little bit today for our activity. So I did go ahead and take some notes, so I'm going to be referring to those because I'm not an expert in any of these areas, and I wanted to share as correctly as possible, but obviously feel free to do your own research on this and look into it because it's super fascinating. All right, the first one is magnetoreception. Probably saying it all the way wrong. This is the sensory detection of magnetic fields. So bees, salmon, turtles, birds, whales, bats, did I get them all? I think so. Use the geomagnetic field to navigate. So they're actually using the magnetic field of the earth to navigate. So it turns out that humans also have this sense, and it is shown by changes in brain waves that correlate with changes in magnetic field. So I will link a study that talks all about this that was done in 2019. So it turns out that the human system actively processes magnetic information and also rejects signals that are unnatural. So that's interesting as well. And they said in the study that the next part of this is to bring that back into conscious awareness, because we typically don't have conscious awareness that our body is able to do that. But apparently our body is able to navigate using the magnetic field of the earth. I would put this in the category of those kinds of things, really knowing nothing about it, but this is my comment on it, of those things that we are not consciously aware of, but that may play into those natural attractions that we feel in our lives. So it may have to do with a bunch of inputs, right? When we feel an attraction towards something, towards an area, towards a person, towards anything, we are probably processing a whole bunch of information that we are largely unaware of. And it's my best guess that this ability to navigate by magnetic field is probably in there somewhere in that mix. We're just not consciously aware of it. So that's my thought on that first aspect I wanted to share with you. The second one is a pretty obvious one, that our body is an electric being, right? Just the obvious example of our heart. And if our heart is, let's see, I was looking at the testing of this, but if the heartbeat, which is controlled by an electrical current, is irregular, then that can lead to heart issues and heart attacks. So that's just kind of the most obvious, but our system is an electrical system. You probably already know probably more about that than I do. So the third one is the one that's most interesting to me, because I have personal experience with this as far as kind of playing with this in this realm of sensation and sensitivity and natural attractions. And that is, I'm just gonna call it earthing. So you may have some experience with this too. So for years and years, I noticed that I could feel, I just called it the energy in plants. I could feel the energy in plants most strongly in trees. I didn't know what that was. A doctor friend of mine called me a witch, like not meanly, but just was like, that's witch powers. And I was like, I don't know what it is, but I can feel different energies in different plants. And so actually I happened upon a while ago studies around earthing. I had kind of had an awareness of it, but for some reason hadn't really looked into it all that much. And once I did, something clicked for me and I was like, oh, that's what I'm experiencing when I have my hands or my head or any part of my body on a tree in particular, because I can put larger amounts of my body on the tree. So it's maybe that's why it's a stronger sensation. But our bodies hold electrical charges, and we are exposed to those all day long, every day, massively, from the hair dryers that we use to the lights that are around us, to any number of any electrical devices, our computers, our phones, that are actually positively charging our body. And that positive charge, I hope I have this right, I think I do, creates free radicals, which cause damage in the body, cause inflammation, can lead to disease, and the like. So what we want to do is actually discharge that positive electrical charge that we have, that's extra charge, to bring down inflammation and bring down any negative effects that we may be getting from our constant use of devices, for example. So one way you can do that is by standing on the earth with your bare feet, by laying on the earth, by putting your body on a tree, just touching a tree. So what happens is that, let me read this so I get it right. Okay. The body absorbs free electrons from the earth, and once inside the body, the electrons act like antioxidants. So they basically heal those free radicals and bring down the charge in our body, and has a positive effect on our health. I actually got kind of super into this for a while. I have a multimeter, so you can actually use a multimeter, and I am not an electrician, but it's fairly simple to use this to measure the charge in your body. And you can measure it just normally, and then you can measure it when you're standing barefoot on the ground, and that charge goes way, way, way down. So for people like me, I live in a second-story apartment, so I am not on the ground. I am not grounded. So what I use are earthing mats. If you haven't heard of these are just conductive mats that you plug with a little alligator clip or a little snap into the ground on your outlets, and that actually attaches you to the ground, connects you to the ground as if you were standing on the ground. So I use that under my mattress. I have just a small one that I put under my mattress. I have one under Vivi's mattress, and then I have little wrist clips that I'll use if I'm working on my computer. So, and I physically experience the difference. So this to me is like when I have my arms around a tree. Tree hugging is a real thing. It feels good. I think because of that electron transfer that's happening, I can actually feel it in my body. And depending on how depleted I am, it will be a stronger force. So if I'm more depleted, I will feel more strongly that immediate, as soon as I get on the ground or on a tree, that immediate sensation of this kind of whoosh of energy in my body, and it sort of evens it out. I can go put my head on a tree if I have a headache, and it will help that. So it all makes sense in terms of this electrical charge and inflammation in our body and all of that I have a very half-assed knowledge of. I will totally admit that, but you don't have to have. Obviously, I didn't have any knowledge of it when I used to just hug trees. When Vivi was teeny, I have paint, we were painting rocks. When Vivi was teeny in her little carrier, I would take her on walks and we would put our hands on trees and put our foreheads on trees, and I would ask her, do you feel that? Do you feel that? So, and I had no idea what it was. I had no idea if it was a magical thing, if I was a witch, whatever. I didn't know, but I just knew that I could feel that, and it felt very healing to my body. So, like I said, when I ran into all the studies and things about earthing, I will link a documentary below that I watched about earthing that was very helpful to me, but it just clicked and was like, oh, okay, this is actually what I'm feeling. So, okay, so after I garbled all that out for you guys, I hope that was okay. Our activity today, I would love for you to grab your journal and go ahead and find an area that you feel naturally attracted to that has a tree. If you can't go to a tree, go to a plant in your home or another plant. For me, kind of the bigger the plant or the tree, the better. Pine trees to me feel extremely active energetically. I don't know, that just tends to be what I feel. So if you have access to a pine tree, if you can do this is amazing. If you take off your shoes and don't put anything on the ground, just sit down at the base of the tree, leaning up with your back against the trunk of the tree with your feet in the dirt, and then just sit there for a while with your eyes closed and just notice the sensations in your body. Notice what's happening if you feel anything. So as always, but in particular with this one, I would love to hear your experience with what you feel when you do that, if you're able to do that. And I know I'm uploading this video late today. It was just the circumstances of today. So there's a little bit of daylight left. So if you have a chance to do that today, go ahead and do that. Just see if you can't do that, if you have any houseplants or maybe some, I don't know, shrubs around your house, just go around and put your hands on the plant. I do it on the leaves, but you could do it anywhere. And just feel that, close your eyes, see if you actually feel anything happening in your body. So I'll leave it at that, and then go ahead and note anything you noticed in your journal and also your mood indicator, 1 to 10. So, and I'd be curious to know, since we're on sense 9 already, if you're starting to notice any change upwardly should be upwardly, in your mood when we do these activities where you actually get out into wild nature or connect with the nature around you. And yeah, please do comment on anything, anytime. I would just love to hear anything you have going on with you for this course. So thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have a connected, wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow for the first of the feeling senses. Exciting. Bye.